Welcome, everyone, to People on Dating. I'm your host, Will Morales. And for those of you who are tuning in for the first time, this podcast is about the ups and downs of dating and how to navigate through it. Today, my guest is Lana Kerr. Did I get your last name right? Lana Kerr? All right.
Perfect.
She is the founding CEO of I just practiced this with Lumisque.
Lumisque skincare. Yeah.
Lumisque, that
Yes.
provides skincare products to medical providers as well as through e-commerce. Founded in 2015, she discovered a new way to deliver carbon dioxide through the skin by using a gel called CO2 Lift. I got that right, right? We'll definitely
Got it.
talk more about that. Lana, first of all, thank you so much for being on People on Data. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much for having me on the show, William.
No, it's my pleasure. So, Lana, tell us a little bit about yourself. What was that journey like? You founded this company back in 2015. What was that journey like for you? What was that entrepreneurial aha moment for you?
Well, actually, my first business venture was I was 14 years old. I graduated from high school at 15. So I was smarter, I guess, younger on early on in my life. But I've always had that spirit. Both my parents, had their own business. My mother is a dentist, but she managed her own practices. And my father had in Jamaica has a milk and juice processing plant, which we supplied juice and milk to the hotels and supermarkets. So I've always had that spirit. My educational background is in accounting and finance. So once I finished that stint, I went back to school, studied nutrition, and then opened weight loss clinics. So that's kind of how where I started in more of the beauty sort of health industry. And we opened several clinics. We actually treated over 30,000 people through those clinics. Then when people started losing weight, when I saw that they were more interested in their skin, so I opened up a spa, and just looking for something that was as unique as my weight loss system. I thought, what can we do? And just on doing research and interviewing individuals, something that was very different was carboxy therapy.
Okay.
So that's what CO2 lift is carboxy therapy. And that's kind of the journey getting into that. As you said, we founded that company in 2015, and we started with more clinical studies before we launched in 2016.
Ah, I see. Okay, that's some journey. So, today's topic is a good one. Is how women can age powerfully. I mean, obviously, there's more to that, but um, one of the things that I've seen out in the podcast world is how some podcasters tend to I won't say degrade women that pass 30, but I know some women that are in their 40s and 50s and even near 60 that look great,
Mhm.
right?
I'm
And
53.
yeah, so go ahead.
I'm 53, so I'm like I don't feel like I'm off the shelf yet.
No,
Well,
listen, you could pass for 23, so you look great. But um, when it comes to women's products, I guess the toughest part I guess the skin tone, making sure there's a non-reaction, you don't break out. How do you work that into the products? If my question makes sense at all.
Um, yeah, I mean, just even going along with what the theme of the show is, women, you talk about aging powerfully. And, aging can, for many people, maybe these are the people you're referring to, can be looked at in a negative way. I mean, aging clearly, I look at it in a positive way. You're getting more experience, you're living longer. I think the key is with getting more experience and living longer, you don't want to necessarily look aged. You want to look as youthful as you possibly can. And I think carboxy therapy has been very effective at doing that because it's really the fastest way to regenerate the skin.
Mhm.
So let me just kind of give you a little bit of background on what carboxy therapy is. It's the therapeutic use of carbon dioxide to regenerate tissue. Because carbon dioxide, as we know, it's in all our bodies. We breathe in oxygen, we exhale carbon dioxide. But when carbon dioxide enters into our tissue, the body naturally has to rebalance or by pushing oxygen-rich blood to that area. So in the process of doing that, we're going to not only increase oxygen concentration, increase blood supply, but we're going to increase microcirculation. And that's what we need for our skin to turn over quickly so that we can look younger faster.
Mhm.
But I think even one thing that people may understand a little bit more, one of the benefits of CO2 lift or carbon dioxide therapy is the fact that we're increasing hydration in the skin over
Mm.
117%. Now, if you think of this analogy of a grape and a raisin, we love a grape, how it's plump and firm, and eventually it can turn into a raisin if when the water is dehydrated. That's what happens with our skin or every part of our body, really. We're born this plump, beautiful grape, and then we turn into this raisin.
Wow.
And fortunately, we have technology that can slow that process down or even reverse it. And that's pretty much what the CO2 lips is doing.
Wow. Yeah. Talk more about that because when you talk about more hydration, right? You always hear we should drink a lot more water, definitely hydrate ourselves as much as possible, use certain skin products. Unfortunately, I think some of the over-the-counter products are not very good for us, and people don't want to spend the money uh, f- to rejuvenate their skin. Can you talk more about that? I mean, is it more cost effective to have something like your product, like the CO2 lift? Can you talk more about
Well,
that?
it's definitely, I mean, it's for what it's doing, I mean, it's relatively inexpensive, but I think that, drinking water is great, but really, even if you drink a lot of water, it's not necessarily reaching our skin.
Okay.
So in order for that to happen, we need a great hydrator. And that's one of the benefits of CO2 lift carboxy therapy. It's in bringing the hydration. And so you think about that's like a tall glass of water for our skin. So I think it's just, there's so many products out there that claim to do so many things. I think what this is a medical grade product.
Mhm.
This is something that's clinically proven to increase the water content in the skin. The results are very visible after just the first application. You basically can see it's like your skin, it gets full. So the fine lines and wrinkles are reduced. The luminosity is increased. We have studies that show the elasticity is improved after only 6 applications. Just to kind of give you something else, just to show you how powerful this is, William, the CO2 lift can actually close a non-healing diabetic ulcer in as little as 8 days. So you think about that, it's regenerating the skin. And look at a diabetic, they have problems with circulation on their extremities. That's why it's harder to heal. And you can apply it and it's going to quickly do that for the skin. And also, in terms of women aging powerfully, the CO2 lift is not just for the face, neck, and hands. We also have an application for the vulva, vagina. So one of the things about aging, it doesn't only affect the skin on our face and our neck, it affects our intimate area, which
Yeah.
affects quality of life. Because once we start getting older, what happens? Our vaginal skin gets thinner, so sexual intercourse can be more painful, can be drier.
Hmm.
Also, too, our clitoris, which is on our vulva, requires blood flow to operate optimally, and that starts slowing down from week 25. So if we can find something that's increasing circulation, blood flow, we're going to increase pleasure, we're going to increase enjoyment, we're going to increase that act, which is very important to connect not only with our partner, but with ourselves.
I love that. Especially, like you said, when you're aging, you start maybe going through menopause and all that. Now, for the men, right? I know you have men products as I look at your website too. So let's talk about, two people that might be over 50. They're looking to, get intimate with each other. Now, you said there's a cream for the vagina. Is there one also for the male penis as well? Or, yeah, go ahead. I can see you.
Yeah. Yeah. We just completed, a urologist in Spain completed a study for men on erectile performance. So you think about blood flow, the penises need blood flow, right? The difference with like the blue pill is that that's more systemic. The CO2 lift is going to be local to that area. But
Right.
what we've seen in the studies is that after a man completes a series of at least 5, one a day for 5 days, his shim score, the sexual health index for men, improves 5 to 12 points. So for instance, if a man was experiencing mild to moderate ED, he's going to be not experience that based on the use of the product. But it's
Right.
also improving the quality of the skin down there. So you're talking about how it smooths the skin, the testes will look nicer. So it's a nice product for them. I think men, especially as they get older, that's something that like all of us, we need blood flow. And
Right.
similarly for a woman. And it's not just so we think of the vagina as one area, but the vulva, which is really the pleasure center, that's another area that can be improved as early as in our 30s. So we don't have to wait till perimenopause or menopause to start experiencing or start doing something about it. We can actually prevent it from happening if we start earlier.
So, at what age would you recommend? Once you get into your 30s, you start recommending using the CO2 product. And for
Well,
men too, how would that work for
yes.
both sexes?
I think when you look at different look at different countries and different racial groups, you know, many people will agree that Asians stay looking young for a very long time.
Hmm.
One of the reasons behind that is that they start skincare from they're 15 years old. So they start from a very young age to almost like freeze their skin. Here in the United States, we start a little later. I saw once I was at a meeting with dermatologists. I work with a lot of dermatologists, and it was a great example. They had twins who one started skincare and doing things from in their 20s, and another one didn't start until she was in her 40s. And even though both looked great, when you compare them, the one that started in their 20s looked 15 years younger than her sister just by starting at an early age. So I definitely encourage as early before that. I mean, for taking care of your face, taking care of our vulva vaginal area,
Yeah.
starting at a very early age, as early as in your 20s. You know, I mean, I know some physicians recommend the CO2 lift V even for menstrual issues. So because it's again, it's about a healthy environment, blood flow and circulation in that area.
Yeah. Again, at first we're talking with Lana Kerr. Today's topic is how women can age powerfully, and I would say add men to that too.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
one of the things for men, and some of my friends that I talk to, they're always afraid of getting crow's feet. Now, if
Mm-hmm.
you smile, that's part of it, but if you're just, you know, uh, at a regular, not smiling, and you still see it, some of my friends like hate that. So, can for men,
Yeah.
can that be even if you already have crow's feet? Can your product help them out?
Definitely,
Yeah, go ahead,
definitely.
please talk about it. Yeah.
It's not only preventative, but if you have, for whatever reason, not taking good care of yourself or you're facing that situation, using it now can definitely, it's almost like you think about, again, we talk about that tall glass of water for your skin. So for men as well. And, you know, men typically what I found is that, you know, they don't want to be bothered with a large, long routine or too many steps.
Yeah.
I think that this
Very
is a
true.
perfect solution because just after you do a man or anyone does a series of at least 6, then it's just a matter of maintaining the skin one a month. And it's a very pleasant experience. If you're with a partner, you can do it together. You put on hers, she put on yours. It's a very comfortable treatment. And then peeling it off is so much fun as well. So definitely, even if a man is having crow's feet and he wants to start fixing up his skin, this is a great solution for him as well.
Yeah, because I think nobody wants to. Everybody wants to age gracefully. Nobody wants to have all those wrinkles, especially if you're in your early 50s or whatever. So, Lana, for you, when you came up with this idea, you founded the company. Obviously, you saw a need in the marketplace.
Mhm.
How did you find out about that, about the marketplace? Was it people that you talked to, studies you read? How did this product come about? Like, what was that impetus for you to like, hey, this is needed?
Well, you know, as I was mentioning it to you before, you know, with coming from the weight loss industry,
Yeah.
and you know, when people lose weight, they started taking better care of themselves, and we opened a med spa, and we were just looking for a product that was as unique and different as our weight loss system. And I would just interview people, you know,
Mhm.
what is it that you have done differently? And we saw this person, her skin was incredible, and she did carboxy therapy in Europe. I never heard about it, so I did research, and carboxy therapy has a long history, but typically what people think about is injectable carboxy therapy, where you have a tank of CO2 and you put it into the skin. But there, of course, there's many downsides to that. And just we had friends in Japan, and we just did research, and we found these scientists in Japan who developed a gel delivery system for which we have the exclusive license to know. So that's how we kind of got into that. And before we launched, we did studies just to see how unique it is. We compared it to the injectable version, and we increased microcirculation 28%. In other words, we're doing the same thing as with the injectable carboxy therapy, but even more so because of the versatility of a gel versus an injection.
Okay. One of the questions I wanted to ask you, with the gel or any product that we're using, whether it's a man or a woman, the instructions, are we using this product daily, or are we using it a couple of times a week? How would you? Yeah, go ahead.
Great question. Well, no, it's a gel is a treatment. So they
Okay.
would do it, you do the series, from the studies, which shows an improvement, just so you know, double-digit improvements in all the markers of skin health, which is
Mhm.
luminosity, reduction in wrinkles, elasticity. After 6 applications, you're going to get that. So you want to do, as a loading dose, almost 6 treatments within a month. And then you just do 1 a month to maintain. So you're going to keep your other
Wow.
skincare products, but what you're going to find is that your other skin products will actually benefit more from them, because it's like your skin is thicker. And so you can actually penetrate your skin better when you have healthier skin.
Wow. Okay. Well, first of all, Lana, I want to thank you so much for being on People on Date. This was definitely eye opener for me. This is something, and it's funny because I was talking to a coworker of mine a couple of years ago, and I always wanted to maintain as much youth as I can. And they recommended certain products. I didn't think they worked, but when I saw your website, I saw, and I'll put that on the show notes. I saw that you do have products for men that I'm definitely interested in looking at. Before I let you go, just a couple of more things.
Mhm.
You got the products. Uh, how does someone start picking what is right for them? If my question made any
Yeah.
sense at all.
You mean from the lineup that we have?
Yes. Yeah.
I think the first thing of the products that you're going to find, because we have HA serums, we have facial oils. I think the first thing is using the carboxy for the face and body, because
Okay.
that's you basically need to improve your skin health. And
Okay.
once you do that, then you can use other products as a daily maintenance, to help to maintain that. So I think the first thing that someone would want to try is the CO2 lift. And something, we didn't really talk about this, William, but we can provide your listeners with a discount code, and they can be able, when they go to the website, when they're on checkout, just put POD 10, and they'll
Yeah.
receive 10% discount on whatever they have.
No, that's great. I appreciate that. Lana, anything else you would like to talk about or promote?
Um, ah, well, I think that I have a couple ebooks that I think would be great, very beneficial to your audience. One
Sure.
is on The Secret to the Big O, which is on, obviously on how can a woman have more pleasure.
Yeah.
We have that one. And then one on skin, which I can send you so that you can put in the show notes for your audience as
Sure.
well. But I think that I like the fact that you're talking to women, and this is just even this episode entitled "How Can Women Age Powerfully?" And I like that word. I think when you have control over what's happening to your body, or a measure of control, you feel more powerful. And
Yeah.
certainly these two areas that we talked about can help a woman to feel more powerful. So good job on that.
No, I listen. It was my pleasure. I think what it is too, Lano. And when I look at some of the movie stars from the that were when we were younger, they're in their late 40s, 50s, mid 50s, and I could name J Lo, Salma Hayek, Holly Berry. I mean, some of these women look amazing. That
Mhm.
I'm like, wow, they look great. So I definitely believe in that. If somebody want to get in contact with you, what's the best way?
Okay, great. They can go on to our Instagram. So my personal Instagram is the Lana Kerr,
Okay.
and then we have the CO2 Instagram at CO2 Lift, and then at CO2 Lift V. The website where they can go and purchase and get the discount is co2lift.com. But if they DM me, I'll be happy to. Of course, I look and I respond to my DMs, and on our Instagram, our support team is very good at responding as well.
Yeah, I'll definitely put that on the show notes. Well, first of all, Lana, thank you so much for being on People on Dating. I really, really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me, William.
Yep, it's my pleasure. Bye bye.